Fire Radio.
Fire burning in my soul. Fire burning in my soul. Fire, fire, fire. Fire burning in my soul.
Fire Radio. Anytime, anywhere.
up and tell you, sir. Our journeys through education take many routes from our early years to university. Academic Crossroads is here to explore key elements to help equip you along the way. So join us and our special guests as we also discuss the expected and unexpected paths, including all the challenges and triumphs while gathering your academic top tips.
This is Academic Crossroads with your host, Dr. Adu-Boahene.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Academic Crossroads live here on Fire Radio. I'm your host, Dr. Adu-Boahene. So thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for joining me this evening here on Academic Crossroads. And whilst we are one week, maybe two for some of you into exam season, we're gonna rewind a little bit and we are gonna have a little bit of a check-in. So good evening, Goodness. Good evening, Nigel. So for those of you that have been there and done that, we would love to hear your tips on staying steady through the exam period, and any advice you have would be much appreciated. But we will be looking at how to stay steady during exam period, how to persevere, how to keep going throughout. And so if you know anybody that would benefit from this episode, please send out the link. And if you yourself would benefit from this episode, make sure you remain locked in, and I will be right back with you after this.
On our way tonight, we go got that day tonight. We know come to play tonight. This I know, hope you know. We'll be on our way tonight. We go got that day tonight. We know come to play tonight. This I know, hope you know. We'll be on our way tonight. We go got that day tonight. We know come to play tonight. This I know, hope you know. We'll be on our way tonight. We go got that day tonight. We know come to play tonight.
I'm fully loaded, I am a big shot. God told me that I don't need luck. You put the word in my hand, I don't need luck. When you walking in God's plan, it's double V's up. This winning team is captained by the Lord Jesus. I'm a victor, I'm part of the squad that's undefeated. This I know, we ain't here to play tonight. Yeah, we pushing kingdom culture, kick the dark, we bringing light.
Hope you know, we'll be on our way tonight. We go got that day tonight. We know come to play tonight. This I know, hope you know, we'll be on our way tonight. We go got that day tonight. We know come to play tonight. This I know, hope you know, we'll be on our way tonight. We go got that day tonight. We know come to play tonight. This I know, hope you know, we'll be on our way tonight. We go got that day tonight. We know come to play tonight.
Good evening and welcome back to Academic Crossroads live here on Fire Radio. So exam season, we are right in the thick of it. And sometimes one of the hardest things during this time is actually that there's a lot to do, right? Some of you may have like 20-something exams and there's a lot to do, there's a lot to remember. And so a lot of the time it's not actually people aren't struggling necessarily because they aren't able, they're not capable, but actually it's just a bit overwhelming sometimes. You know, it can feel like it's one exam after the other. And so today we're not focusing on becoming the perfect student. We are already in the thick of it. The revision, the majority of it anyway, has been done. And so it's about understanding, how can you be your best? How can you be at your best throughout this journey of exam period? And also, where there are difficult days, how can you recover quickly? And how can you get back on track and back into the swing of things? And, you know, it's really important during this time to protect your focus, protect your time, and make sure you are at your optimal, your optimal performance. And so when we think about being our optimal performance, when we think about persevering, a lot of it is actually, in fact, we're thinking about resilience. And when we think of resilience, it's not necessarily that people never struggle. It's not necessarily that people don't find things hard, or there's never a challenge, or, you know, that they don't ever feel a bit stressed. But actually, it's continuing despite that. It's enduring through it. It's going through and you know, taking up that challenge and looking at it as a learning opportunity and a learning experience, you know, and not allowing our emotions to overcome us, but actually remaining at peace, being grounded in the promises we know that we have had from God, and actually going through it with boldness, knowing that actually He is with us every step of the way, and that He has already done it for us. And so when we have this season, and when we're going through it, right? You've had a week or maybe two already for a lot of you, and so sometimes we feel like maybe initially we've got into that rhythm, you know, you're doing well, but then there might just be one day. It might not even be a day. It might be a morning where you felt like the revision didn't go as planned. It might be an afternoon or a revision session where maybe you feel a bit like, I just was not getting it, or you were trying to ask questions and you didn't feel like you got the answers you needed. Or it might even be that actually you sat one exam and you weren't really feeling it, you know, and the revision schedule can be there, but maybe we haven't stuck to time as much as we thought we would, and maybe there's also been a little bit of procrastination along the way, but actually it's not about avoiding all of that. It's not about having those difficult days and then just, you know, burying your head in the sand, as they say. It's not about that. It's about actually just pushing through it and regrouping, taking a moment and not avoiding those things, but actually working through them and continuing as you go, because there may be some days that things don't go to plan. There may be some exams that maybe don't go the way you thought they would go, but you haven't got your results yet, so you actually don't know. But just because you've maybe had one study session that didn't go to plan, or an exam maybe that didn't go to plan, it doesn't mean that your whole exam period is messed up. It doesn't mean that actually everything else is ruined. It may actually just be that you didn't quite pan out as you had expected. And it's just one time, right? It can just be one session, one afternoon, one morning. It does not have to determine the rest of your exam season. And so when you're going through that, sometimes we understand that there can be a bit of panic. But when we panic, it often ruins our focus. It often makes us then avoid what we're doing or avoid other things as well. And then we can bring in the procrastination, but then that's the opportunity for more pressure to begin to increase. And so we need to make sure that actually we're taking action fast, right? Yes, maybe the revision session didn't go to plan, but what do we need to do now? There's There's times where maybe you'll sit there and be upset, but please don't sit in it for long. Don't sit in it for long. We have some time to go. We've got at least 2 weeks for the majority of you after this. And so, or even 3. And so it's about how can we recover from those experiences. And one of the main ways is we just need to adjust, right? If let's say you're going somewhere, okay, and you have to be there at a certain time, and you get to the bus stop. As you're approaching the bus stop, the bus has already gone past because it arrives early. Do you sit there and panic and start crying? Or do you think, okay, when is the next bus? Is it then quicker for me to walk? Or is it quicker for me to wait for this bus? Or what alternative buses can I get? You start thinking of alternative plans, right? You start thinking of how can I still get to my destination, even though my plan A of getting there is now out of the question. You start to rethink, and the same thing should happen when you have exams or when you have coursework due, or maybe you've got a big meeting and you've got a presentation. Plan A of getting to the destination may not be on the cards anymore, but there are definitely other options. And so we have to just think of it as, okay, I need to change strategy, right? And then think about, okay, what is the end point and how can I still get there? Think of things simply, break it down, take it one step at a time, and think about what are my priorities. Because if you're going to that destination and maybe actually you thought on the way, initially in your plan A, on the way, you were going to stop at maybe 2 shops. So now you have to rethink and think, okay, am I still going to go to the shop even though I've just missed the bus? Well, maybe you wouldn't go to the shop. So you're prioritizing, you're rethinking and reprioritizing and thinking about, okay, what do I need to do now in order to still make it to my destination on time? Granted, you may not turn up with the things, with the snacks that you had intended, but you're still going to get there, right? And so instead of sitting there and panicking, we need to think of what is our next step and what do I still need to do in order for me to get there. Because sometimes when we sit and we panic, you may be upset, but all of that is taking time away from you actually focusing and getting to where you need to be. So we need to regroup and rethink, and then still focus on getting to our destination. Now, when we're thinking about our new strategy, and the rest of our journey through this exam period, actually making sure you're doing this in a realistic way, setting realistic routines. We've spoken about this before here on Academic Crossroads, and it is exactly the same now that you are in the thick of exam season. So thinking about realistic routines, right? Because you're still having to go to school. You still have lunch times, you still have break times. You might have stuff to do after school. You might have clubs or something like that. And so when you're re-strategizing and you're thinking of how you need to be adaptable, then actually this needs to be realistic, and you need to make sure that you're focusing on consistency. What can I continually do well? And what can I keep up with as well? Because if you're trying to think, okay, maybe yesterday's morning didn't go so well, I need to revise now for 8 hours. That's not realistic. We all know that you're not going to sit there for 8 hours solidly and do work. So stick to what you know works. Do it in blocks if you need to. Break it down. It may be a 25-minute block. It may be a half an hour block. Whichever way it works, you need to make sure that actually you're doing something that can be done consistently throughout, and just start. You're not looking for the perfect moment, the perfect time for it to get done. That whole I'll start in 10 minutes. How many of us know 10 minutes turns into 15 can turn into 20, and then before you know it, half an hour has gone. So just start now. Start right away. Start right away and be consistent in whatever approach you're taking. And during this time, when you're thinking about actually being able to be consistent, being able to persevere through, making sure that actually you're able to be resilient during this time period, you need to ensure that you're not burning yourself out. So yes, you have revision to do, and also part of that process is actually giving yourself the time to rest and recuperate during that time. And part of this may be sleep. Sleep early is never a bad idea. Sleeping early is never a bad idea. But also making sure you're giving yourselves those breaks throughout, right? Because sometimes you can feel mentally, you just feel a bit tired sometimes. It's not actually that you need to sleep. Sometimes you just need to sit down and rest and not necessarily read. You don't necessarily need to be like overstimulated by social media and stuff like that. But actually taking that time to rest, and yes, it may be sleep, but it may also just be sitting in silence for 5 minutes as a break time, but taking that time to rest and ensuring that actually you do have enough sleep and you're getting enough sleep throughout this period, so that you can endure, so that actually you can persevere. On Sunday we heard of strategic economics. And so you need to think about this is a long-term plan. This is not short-term plans for short-term gains, but actually you need to be strategic. You need to think ahead. You need to have those things built in consistently, and being consistent, that includes your sleep as well, and that includes your rest periods and taking those breaks, so that actually you can keep going without actually feeling burnt out before you get to the end. Because when you are really tired, we all know that concentration isn't there. We all know that actually trying to retain information can be a lot harder during those periods where you're feeling tired and maybe you're feeling a bit exhausted. And so you want to make sure that you're in your optimal position for when you're doing it. Stephanie, you've said yeah. Yeah. Let us know what your yeah is too, Steph. So just making sure that actually you're protecting those times of rest, but that also requires then you to be diligent with the time that you have set out. So where you do have your schedules, making sure that you're diligent with your time and that you are utilizing it as best as you can during those periods. So then you actually get the time to rest without feeling like, oh, I haven't done enough or I haven't done much. So taking that time to actually rest, and giving yourself that. Steph, you said when that 10-minute break turned into 1 hour. We all know. I feel like we've all probably been there at some point. It might not even have been through exam period, but actually, when you take that time away, you really have to be disciplined and strict, and strict with yourself as well. And you have to know yourself and be honest, because if you know you can't sit, maybe if you're looking through socials or if you're going to read a book or something like that. I guess if you've got a show, so if you're watching something or you've got a show, then it's a bit like, okay, I'm going to watch this one episode. This is what I'm going to do. But if you're on certain platforms, then the next one will just roll and just roll and just roll and just roll. And so maybe if there's a way to turn that off, then that's good. But making sure that you have to be strict with yourself. Or it might even that you tell your sibling. I'm sure your siblings will love to remind you that, yeah, your break time's over. Break time is over. So get them on board and bring them along the journey with you. with you where possible. And parents, also be involved, know the timetable and help your children stick to the times that they have that they've actually set out. So when we're thinking about this exam period, and it's getting to a time where maybe we're starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed, we're starting to think, my exam is a day away and I don't know XYZ, or I know this part really, really well, but I'm not 100% sure on another part, then actually we just need to, first of all, take a step back. Take a step back and just take a step back. This will give you time to reset a little bit. And then we have to move on to thinking about what is our next priority. So instead of thinking maybe about how we need to fix everything or how we need to change everything, we need to think, what is my next priority? What matters most right now? And how can we achieve that? You know, really reducing that task size as well. So if it's that you've got different things to look at, just start with one. What are you going to do now? And then map out your plan for your next steps and start revising that topic. Or it may even be that you just do that one past paper, but just start now. You know, it may be that you need to just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to just study for the next 10, 15 minutes and just take those small steps, rebuild your momentum and get back into the swing of things. So really reducing that task size will really help you in the times where, you know, you're feeling a bit like, oh, I've got loads to do. But actually you can only do it one step at a time anyway. So just take your time with that and do it one step at a time. And even if there's times where you're not feeling motivated, this is where we've spoken about it before here on Academic Crossroads. You need to just be disciplined. You know, you need to get back into the groove straight away where possible. Don't wait to feel that motivation coming back, and think about ways that you can do that works best for you as well. It might be that actually you've taken that step back. You need to regroup, break it down, and then go and teach that topic to one of your siblings. Go and talk to them about what it is that you've been reading about. You might even be using your notes still, and that's fine. But just talk to them about it and go through it step by step. And actually you'll find that when you're doing that as well, it will by the grace grant you clarity on what it is that you've been reading through, and in you teaching somebody else and discussing it with somebody else. Because sometimes then also you, as you're speaking about it, I've often said this as well, like when you're writing essays and stuff, read them out loud, because as you're reading it, you'll hear the bits that start not to make sense. And it's really different to you just reading it off of the page to when you're actually speaking it out loud. So in the same way that when you're talking about something, you'll be able to gain more clarity than if you just have to sit and look at the book and read through it, but actually talk it. And if your siblings won't sit and listen, talk it out to yourself. It's fine. It's fine. We've been there. We've done it many, many, many times, and it's been so beneficial still. But also, as siblings, if you're there, ask questions. You know, don't be mean, but ask questions to help their thinking. Anything that you don't understand, then just ask them about it, and then you'll be able to work through it. So it's not about being perfect when the pressure comes. It's not about actually, you know, thinking I can't do this, but it's about how do we return after those difficult moments? How do we keep going through those challenges? You know, how can we be strategic in our approach? To make sure that we get back on track ASAP, as soon as possible, and keep going and persevere and endure through this through this exam period. Now, when we're thinking about exams, you know, a lot of students, you've got the books, right? You've got the content. You know what it is that you need to know for your exam. But actually, when we're thinking about the what, we also need to know the how. And when we're thinking about exams, it's about performance, right? It's about actually staying steady under pressure, and actually just maintaining that peace, the peace that we've been granted, maintaining it and holding onto it throughout. And so when we're thinking about this, we can think about it in terms of like before your exam and during your exam, because the processes that you do before your exam will be quite different to what you'll be able to do and what's needed during your exam. And so before your exam, just making sure that those late night cramming sessions, try where possible to avoid them. to avoid them, especially if you know that this is not what serves me well. Those really like late night cramming sessions, and then if you're waking up tired, then you have to think about how you'll be for your exam the night before, and actually making sure that you're in a position whereby your recall, your concentration can be at its best before your exam. So whatever routines you need to put in place the night before, like I had this thing. So whenever I had exams, I always found that actually like towards the evening / morning before the exam, I'd just rather not really engage with the content much. I'd rather not engage with the content much. I didn't really like those, like, you know, like before exams, everyone's really like, oh yeah, this is and then this, oh yeah, they talk about this. I didn't like that at all. I felt like it was just bringing too much pressure for no reason. I've done my revision. Like I've prayed. I've prayed via the Holy Ghost. We've been riding this out. So far. We're going to continue to ride this out during the exam. And by the grace of God, that recall and that memory and all of those things will be retained. And so those times I really didn't like that. So I often found like quite close to the exam, cramming and stuff for me was just really, it was really not a thing. But then I know that for some people, they really wanted to go right up to the wire. So for some, it would be that they'd sleep early so that they could wake up early to just go over stuff and refresh their minds early in the morning. Some, it was that they would sleep late and then wake up in enough time. They'd plan it so they'd have enough sleep and they'd wake up in enough time to like wake up, get ready. It wasn't like they were doing revision and stuff in the morning. So I think you have to know what works for you. You have to know yourself. You have to, you know, really understand how you work best. And so if you know that those late night cramming sessions, they might not even be that late. It might be like at 10 o'clock, you know, maybe 10:30 or something. But if you know those types of sessions don't work for you, then don't do them. You know, work in a routine that really will help you retain that information. And then before your exams as well, thinking about how are you going into this exam. So how do you best prepare right before your exam? You know, you'd go to some exams and then you see everyone there. Some people, they've got their notes with them. Some people, they're there on their they're there on their phones. They're looking at all types of social media, all of that kind of stuff. But my advice to you would be drop the phone. Drop the phone, go over the notes that you need, pray, whether it's by yourself, with your friends, and go into that exam at peace. Trust me, just go in at peace. Don't give yourself too much. Don't overload yourself. Don't, spend your time engaging in unnecessary things, even talking. Sometimes it's just best not to talk to people before the exam. Sometimes it's best to be around, but maybe just go and find somewhere to be by yourself, and then make your way down to your exam hall or to wherever you need to go before your exam, so that actually you're not being overloaded, you're not being overstimulated by other people and other things and stuff. And just take your time before your exam. Make sure that you have actively done the best thing to put you in a place where actually you're not being distracted, and no one's bringing their issues. no one's bringing their stress to you either, of how they're feeling. But just go, take some time, find somewhere, wherever you need to be. It might be that you just put on your headphones. You might not even be listening to anything. Just put on your headphones and take that time to relax and be still and pray, and then go into your exam. Go into your exam calmly. And then there's go into your exam calmly. So I'm looking at the time has flown today. So just before we wrap up, we'll just focus a bit on during your exams, and during your exams and during your revision as well. So during your exams, just making sure that actually you're taking your time. Do what you've practiced. The way that you've done your practice exams, the way that the methods and stuff that your teacher has taught you throughout the months or years, I guess, because of some last year as well, the way that you have prepared for this exam, execute it. Don't get flustered. People will suggest things to you right before you walk in that door, but stick to your plan. That's one thing I've really learned recently. Stick to the brief, stick to your plan. Do and execute what you know, what you know works, what you have practiced. And just be aware of timings as well. So stick to your plan, be aware of your timings. If during your exams you get to some questions and actually you're finding them really difficult, make some notes of what you're thinking about, and then in some instances you can just go on to the next question and come back to it. It may slightly depend on the exam setup, and if you are doing that, if you're going to take your time to skip over a question, make sure you remember what question you skipped. Make sure you remember what questions, and then go back to them. But go through your papers in the way that you've practiced, the way that you've practiced in lessons, the way that you've done your revision, your revision as well, and stick to those. Take your time. Make sure you're hydrated as well. Don't drink too much so that you need the toilet, but make sure that you're going in hydrated, and stick to the plan throughout your exam. Make sure you've got all of your stuff prepared ahead of time, the night before your exams as well. Getting your sleep. Make sure you've prepared all of your stuff. So pack your bag the night before. And when I say pack your bag, I don't mean, oh yeah, I've just got to add these two things. No, I mean your bag should be ready, that you just pick it up and leave the house in the morning. That's the kind of pack your bag I mean. Hang up all of your clothes that you're going to wear. Make sure everything is cleaned and ironed so that you're not having to do that in the morning, so that you can wake up, you can pray, you can read, you can then go and get dressed or whatever order that you do it in. And then you're able to just have a smooth sailing out of your house. So during your exams, make sure you stick to the plan. The night before, make sure you prepare well so that in the morning there's no panic. Set like 3 alarms if you know that you're the type of person that will miss alarms, or you'll turn it off. Sometimes it's better to turn the alarm on and put the phone on the other side of the room. So then you have to get out of your bed in order for you to get up as well. And don't do the things the night before that are gonna distract you or make you do your like any last minute panic stuff. Just take your time, stick to the plan, be hydrated, and you will be fine. Remember, it's not necessarily about being perfection during this time, but actually you want to make sure that you're consistent in what it is you're implementing. You want to make sure that actually you're able to think clearly, and you're able to actually mentally as well be present and focused on what it is that you are doing as well. So I'm looking at the time, and that is all I have time for today. So if you are in the thick of exam season period, I hope they are going well, and we're just praying for you. We're praying for you all, and we just pray that you continue to endure, continue to persevere, because it seems 3 weeks seems like a long time now, but once it's done, you're gonna look back and think, wow, that went so fast. So just praying that you're putting all of your strategies in place, and that by the grace of God, you'll come out excellently well. So that is it from me today. Thank you for tuning in. I've been your host, Dr. Leanne J, here on Academic Crossroads, live on Fire Radio.
You have been listening to Academic Crossroads. Join us same time next week for more academic top tips with your host, Dr. Leanne J. Adu-Boahene. On Fire Radio.
Fire burning in my soul. Fire, fire, fire. Fire burning in my soul.
Radio. Anytime, anywhere.